If you guys want to get that Legend Onslaught clear, not only are you going to need top tier ad clear, but you're also going to need very high DPS to help you take out those bigger, beefier targets and those bosses. Not only that, but you'll also need a way to keep constantly healing yourself so that way you stay alive throughout all 50 waves. Fortunately for you, this Sunbreaker Titan build has it all. Ad clear, boss DPS, and constant health regeneration. So Guardians, let's get into this.
Yo, it's time to subscribe to Paid to Be Famous. What are you doing?
Subscribe to Paid to Be Famous.
Subscribe to Paid to Be Famous. Like the video, come on.
Hell
you know
yeah.
the drill.
Button.
And slap that like button.
So for today's build, like I said earlier, we're going to be on the Solar Titan, and we're going to be taking advantage of the exotic gauntlets, the Pyrogale Gauntlets. This exotic comes with the perk Percussive Flames. This exotic states that it modifies your Burning Maul into a single high damage slam of your hammer that creates several cyclones of flame. And your Consecration second slam creates a cyclone of flame. This is a very powerful exotic. It's going to help you clear a lot of ads with just one melee slam. And this build does revolve around the melee. Specifically, we're going to be needing the Consecration solar aspect. States that while sliding, activate your charged melee ability to launch a wave of solar energy forward, damaging and scorching targets in front of you as you leap into the air. And then while you're airborne, you can activate your charged melee again to slam to the ground and create a second larger wave of damaging solar energy. If the wave hits a scorched target, they ignite. So as the ads are spawning in, you can literally take them all out in just one melee slam, spreading scorch to all of them and igniting all of them. And of course, you gotta be on the Burning Maul super. Summon a Flaming Maul and crush targets with the force of an earthquake. Normally, when you pop this, you get multiple hits off, but since we are wearing the exotic Pyrogale Gauntlets, you only get one slam that does a massive amount of damage. So with your regular melee, you've got the ad clear under control, and with your super, you're going to be able to get tons of damage off on the boss and any other beefier target during the onslaught waves. I'm taking the throwing hammer for my melee, but we're not going to be throwing it. Like I said, we're going to be sliding and doing the Consecration melee. And for the grenade, we're taking the healing grenade, since in Legend Onslaught, everything hits really hard, so we're going to need the healing grenade to stay alive. It states that a grenade that cures allies on impact and creates an orb of benevolent solar light, granting restoration to allies when picked up. Restoration states that you regenerate health and shields over time, cannot be interrupted by taking damage. The healing grenade is a must-have for this build. It's really going to help you out in there. It's going to come in clutch, because like I said, even low-level red bar ads in Legend Onslaught do not around. Then for our second aspect, we're taking Soul Invictus. Solar ability Final Blows, Hammer of Soul impacts, and defeating scorched targets creates sunspots. Your abilities regenerate faster and your super drains more slowly while standing in a sunspot. Sunspots apply scorch and deal damage to targets inside. Entering a sunspot applies a restoration. So with this aspect right here, we're going to be able to gain restoration through going through a sunspot, and we're also going to get restoration with our healing grenade like I just explained. And we now have two avenues of getting that constant healing uptime. And between our melee that scorches, we're also going to be taking weapons that scorch. So we're going to be creating a lot of sunspots all over the battlefield, which takes us to our fragments. First up, we have Ember of Torches. Powered melee attacks against combatants make you and your nearby allies radiant. In Legend Onslaught, all the enemies are much beefier and take a lot of shots to take down, so we're going to need all the extra damage we can get, and the Radiant buff is going to give us a 25% increase to our weapon damage, which we are definitely going to need. Moving on from there, we have Ember of Searing. Defeating scorched targets grants melee energy and creates a fire sprite. So we're going to be scorching enemies with our melee, scorching enemies with all the sunspots that we create, scorching enemies from the weapons that we're going to be taking in there. So that is going to give us constant melee energy. And after we pick up those fire sprites, that's going to give us grenade energy. Fire sprite states that a luminous consecration of solar energy when picked up fire sprites grant grenade energy. Specifically, it grants you 12.5% of your grenade back. And Ember of Searing also gives you a +10 to your recovery. Next up, we've got Ember of Empyrean. Solar weapons or ability Final Blows extend the duration of restoration and radiant effects applied to you. Now with this fragment, we're going to be able to get up to 15 seconds of restoration and radiant. And all you need to do is get a kill with your solar weapon, which is very easy to do. And since we have constant uptime on our melee ability, we're going to be able to get solar ability final blows at all times. So we're going to have that restoration and radiant up constantly. Then for the last fragment, we're taking Ember of Benevolence. Applying restoration, cure, or radiant to allies grant increased grenade, melee, and class ability regeneration for a short duration. And this is no little increase. This is a 400% increase to your grenade, melee, and class ability. So with these aspects and fragments, like I said earlier, you're going to be able to take out a massive amount of adds, deal a massive amount of damage to bosses and beefier targets, and you're going to have constant uptime on restoration to help keep you alive. Now for our solar weapons, there's a bunch of solar weapons that you can use for this. For the heavy, I'm going to be taking Dragon's Breath. States that rockets embed themselves in struck targets and periodically eject incendiary fuel that inflicts scorch. The longer this weapon goes without firing, the more fuel the next rocket contains. So this is a weapon that's going to help us get that scorch off. And when we defeat those scorched targets, they're going to create sunspots. Sunspots are going to give us a restoration. Scorching the targets will ignite them. Now when it comes to your energy weapons, your best options are the ones that have heal clip and incandescent. For example, you have the Luna's Howl that comes with heal clip and incandescent. Heal clip states that reloading shortly after dealing a final blow grants you cure to you and your allies. Heal clip actually stacks 2 times at 1 stack. You're going to grant an instant 60 HP to your health. So not only are you going to have constant restoration, but with heal clip, you're going to have constant cure. Once again, proving that this is just one of the best builds to help keep you alive. You also have Polaris Lance that can help scorch targets. You've got the Summoner Auto Rifle that can help scorch targets. Once again, it comes with heal clip and incandescent. You've got the Zaoli's Bane from the King's Fall raid, comes with incandescent. You've got a ton of different options that you guys can use. Now moving on to the mods that I'm using on the helmet, we have hands-on, gain bonus super energy on melee kills. Since we have such a high uptime on our melee, this is just going to help us get our high damage super off even more. Got some heavy ammo finders and a harmonic solar mod so we can create orbs. On the gauntlets, I'm taking 2 heavy-handed mods. Your powered melee final blows create orbs of power. This is going to help us get stacks of armor charge, and it's going to help us get our super back faster. And I've got a solar loader on there. On the chest piece, I'm taking a charged up mod, increases the maximum number of stacks of armor charge you can carry by 1. And then I also have a solar resist on right now. You can change this to whatever affinity that you need. Then I've got a solar reserve mod on here so I can carry more Dragon's Breath. On the boots, we've got solar weapon surge for whatever solar weapons that we're using. And I also have a recuperation mod on that's going to replenish our health each time you pick up an orb. So now we got healing from cure, healing from restoration. We're creating a lot of orbs, and we're going to get healing from picking up those orbs. And on the class item, we're taking Reaper mod. Shortly after using your class ability, your next weapon final blow spawns an orb of power. I've got Powerful Attraction. It's going to automatically collect nearby orbs of power when you activate your class ability. And then I have an Outreach mod, reduces melee cooldown when using your class ability. For the artifact, we're taking Overload Rockets. It's going to help us stun champions. We've got Revitalizing Blast, causing damage with a solar ability weakens champions. And since we have constant uptime on our abilities, this comes in real handy. We're also taking Kindling Trigger. Since we're going to have constant uptime on Radiant, it's going to cause our solar weapons to apply Scorch to unscorched combatants. We've got Flint Striker, Rapid Solar Weapon Precision Hits, and Rapid Solar Weapon Final Blows grant Radiant. Then we also have on Argent Ordnance to get increased damage with our rockets. So Guardians, that is the build right there. It is very hard to die in Legend Onslaught with this build. You're going to be clearing a ton of adds, doing a bunch of damage. I personally have not stopped using this build every single time I'm on my Titan. This is what I seem to always equip, and it has always been a good time for me. If you guys are new here and found this video helpful, don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. Leave a like if you enjoyed the content. Follow me over on my Twitch channel for the live streams, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.